What's up, everyone? It's Tim J here to give my predictions for UFC Fight Night Makhachev versus Moisés. Coming off a pretty bad betting card for the McGregor Poirier 3 card. Would have gone 2-1 on my best bets if Jessica I had have won, and I thought she did enough to win that fight, but yeah, so 1 and 2 on best bets, and then really bad on all my other bets. But I was coming off a pretty big streak, and yeah, that's the game we play. Sometimes you're hot, and sometimes you're cold. Anyway, let's get into this other card. First fight of the night, we have Rodrigo Nascimento versus Alan Baudot. I haven't got to look at this fight that closely. Alan Baudot, he's going to be the smaller fighter. Nascimento, I think, has fought better competition. And I think he's just going to be the overall bigger guy. And he's going to land some good punches on the feet, probably shoot a takedown, and likely dominate Baudot on the ground. So I'm taking Baudot. Nascimento is a really heavy favourite, so definitely not betting the fight. And that's really going to be the theme for most of this card. There's not really many good spots to bet on this card. So I think there's going to be some people out there doing some parlays, trying to get some of these heavy favourites in parlays. But I think it's, there's going to be a few of these unexpected underdogs who are going to win, but it's going to be hard to pick which ones. So yeah, it's going to be a hard card for betting. Moving on, Francisco Figueiredo versus Malcolm Gordon. Look, not really impressed by either of these guys. I'm looking for an opportunity to fade Francisco Figueiredo because I don't think he's that great. And I'm really hoping he comes out and knocks out Malcolm Gordon and looks quite good, and then fights someone decent and I can bet against him. So, yeah, the line for this fight, super wide. Figueiredo is $1.30 favourite. Definitely not going to bet him, but I think he's good enough to beat Malcolm Gordon, and I can't pick a fighter like Gordon who's just shown to be so chinny and knocked out so many times in his career. So I'm picking Francisco Figueiredo for this one, but not betting the fight. Next fight, we have Anderson dos Santos versus Miles Johns. I think this fight's much closer than the line has it. Miles Johns $1.50 favourite. I think Anderson dos Santos has a path to victory. I think he's got. So the difference between Johns and dos Santos is that dos Santos throws more punches, and he throws in combinations, and so he's a little bit more higher volume than Miles Johns. Miles Johns, I mean, he's a decent fighter. He's got some decent wrestling. He hasn't shown the ability to be able to kind of return his opponents and get some really good top control time in his fights. But he does shoot takedowns, so that is something that's in his favour. Anderson dos Santos, he's the older fighter as well, so he's going to be at a disadvantage there. But I'm going to pick Anderson dos Santos to win, but I can't bet him just because I'm not that confident. Johns could just come in, keep the striking pretty even, and then land a few takedowns to steal the rounds. But I think Anderson dos Santos, I think he's going to come in, he's going to pressure Johns. I think the striking's going to be fairly even, and I think he's going to do that en route to a unanimous decision victory. So I'm picking Anderson dos Santos here, but not betting the fight. Khalid Taha versus Sergey Morozov. Morozov seems to be a lot of... he's like the underdog of the week. A lot of people think he's in with a good shot here. I do rate him as a fighter. He's got a well-rounded game, scrambles well on the ground. Striking, it's okay. He kind of throws one punch at a time. Doesn't have the most power, but it's not like he's got pillow fists either. Khalid Taha coming off a really great performance against Ronnie Barcelos. Showed a lot of heart. Did well not to get finished. I think effectively this fight is going to come down to the striking. I think Morozov he's got a good grappling game, but I think he's a little bit undersized for the weight class, and I don't think he's going to be able to. I don't think he's going to be able to ground Taha for a long enough period to effectively make the grappling be the decisive factor in the fight. So I see it mostly being a stand-up fight, and I think Taha has the better combinations and more power. So as long as he comes in aggressive, sits down on his punches, I think he's going to catch Morozov. Morozov's going to shoot for a takedown. Might be successful at first, but I think he's going to tire himself out. Well, he's going to tire himself a bit doing that, and then I think Taha is going to... I think he's live for the knockout, or he's going to coast his way to a unanimous decision victory. So I'm going to take Khalid Taha. I'm going to bet him here, but it's not a best bet. I'd like there to be more value, and I'm hoping that some money comes in more on Morozov so that I can bet on Taha. But I'm picking him to win and betting him as well. Amanda Lemos versus Montserrat Ruiz. I'll keep this one simple. Lemos, she's got something that a lot of other female fighters in the 115 weight class don't have, and that's power and good striking. So I've backed her in her last two fights pretty heavily, and she's come through for me. Got really, as I said, got really big power, really good striking, good style. Has a tendency to slow down later in the fight, but I think that Ruiz is going to be way outclassed on the feet, and I think Lemos is going to light her up and potentially end the fight by first round KO. So I'm going to take Lemos there. She's a huge favourite though, $1.20, so not going to bet the fight. Daniel Rodriguez versus Preston Parsons. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rodriguez. He's got really, if you look at his significant striking stats, like they're really up there for the welterweight division. Like he lands a very high degree of significant strikes, and he's got a great knockdown rate. So I think he's just a level above. What's the fellow's name? Preston Parsons. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to land the better strikes on the feet. I think Parsons might get a takedown in the first round, but Rodriguez, he's going to know that. He's going to pop back up to his feet. And I think he's going to push a hard pace, and he's either going to knock out Preston Parsons or he's going to win a decision. So picking Daniel Rodriguez there, but once again, he's a huge favourite, so I'm not going to bet him based on those odds. Next fight, we have Billy Quarantillo versus Gabriel Benitez. Billy Quarantillo is the other underdog of the week. A lot of people are backing him. Started as a $2.80 favourite. Now he's down to about $2.50. Probably going to be $2.30 even by the time the fight starts. Look, Quarantillo, we know his style. He's got a pressure style, comes forward. Doesn't have the best striking, but not terrible either. It's kind of, throws a big kind of overhand right. Not much of a jab. Doesn't really throw leg kicks. It's really just a pressure style, and tries to throw a lot of volume and get takedowns. That's been really effective against some of his previous opponents until he ran into a brick wall against Gavin Tucker. Tucker came in with a really great game plan, just matched his volume and then had more power, and then was effectively the better wrestler and took Quarantillo down a number of times. Look, I think Gabriel Benitez is going to win. I think he's the I think he's clearly the better striker. He's got that big X factor in his pocket with his leg kicks and his body kicks that the UFC commentators are always talking about how he's one of the strongest kickers in the gym that he's at. So yeah, I'm going to take him to win. I think he can. I think he can come in and I think he knows that Quarantillo is going to pressure him, and all he really has to do is not be backed up to the cage constantly. He's going to sit down on his punches, get the respect of Quarantillo, and if Quarantillo keeps coming in, he's just got to keep landing on him to stifle that pressure style. Justin James tried a similar thing to Benitez, even though I rate Quarantillo better than Justin James, but I think Benitez is going to know what the game plan is here, and I'm going to take him to win. I'm going to say second round knockout. But yeah, not betting the fight. Yeah, Benitez, too much of a heavy favourite, $1.40 favourite, so not going to bet that. Rodolfo Vieira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, so a lot of people were pretty mad at Rodolfo Vieira. Had a terrible performance in his last fight. Came in against Fluffy Hernandez, shot those takedowns, got him to begin with, but wasn't able to submit Hernandez, and then just completely gassed at the end of the first round effectively. Yeah, it's hard to see at the moment whether Rodolfo Vieira has more than 5 minutes in his gas tank. Look, there is the potential that he's gonna change his game up and he's gonna pace himself better. But the thing about that is, I think if he paces himself better, then it's going to become more of a striking type fight, and then I don't think his striking is really good at all. So he's going to expose himself to prolonged periods on the feet, and I think Dustin Stoltzfus is the better striker. And yeah, look, if Vieira comes in the same style, he's potentially live for the first round submission, but I think Stoltzfus is going to effectively survive anything that Vieira has on the ground just long enough that he can, effectively gas Vieira out. Or if Vieira comes in with a changed game plan, then I think it's going to be a striking battle, and then he's going to have problems winning that over the 15 minutes. So I'm taking Stoltzfus here. He's a $2.90 underdog. I think the line's too wide. I'm going to bet it. It's not a best bet, but I'm betting and taking Stoltzfus to win. Mateusz Gamrot versus Jeremy Stephens. Once again, I think Gamrot's a little bit overrated. He's low volume. His striking is alright. He's got a good jab and a good 1-2. I think his grappling is a little bit overrated. Like, he kind of struggled really to take down Kutateladze and regularly, as well as Scott Holtzman. So I don't think he's going to be able to mat return Jeremy Stephens. And I think Jeremy Stephens has fought a way higher level of competition. I think he has more power. I think he's a better striker, better leg kicks. And I think, I think he's going to win this fight. So yeah, once again, Stephens, huge favourite, $2.90. I think that line's way too wide. I'm going to bet it, and this is going to be my only, it's going to be my only best bet of the card. So betting Jeremy Stephens and picking him there. Co-main event of the evening. We've got Miesha Tate versus Marion Renaud. Hard fight to call. Marion Renaud getting towards her mid-40s. Really well-rounded fighter. Fought a lot of really good girls. Had some good wins, but clearly she's slowing down, unsurprisingly, at her age. Did okay against Macy Chiasson. Actually won the first round, I think. Misha Tate was, former world champion, left the sport for a few years to have kids and to have a break from it all. Haven't seen her in a long time. All we can really know about her at this stage is that she looks in great shape on as we can see on her Instagram, but not sure what her skill set is going to be coming in. Whether she's improved her striking, whether she's going to look rusty. Not really sure about that. So yeah, pretty close fight. I'm going to take Misha Tate just because she's younger, and I think if she looks, even let's say 70% of what she was before she took a break, I think she can beat Marion Renault. But yeah, not that confident in the pick, and I'm not betting the fight either. But my pick is Misha Tate. Main event of the evening, Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moisés. Yeah, I'm taking Islam Makhachev to win. I think, Moisés actually been a good underdog for me. I backed him in his last couple of fights and he came through. But I think there's a pretty bad matchup for him. I think Makhachev is just the way superior grappler. I think he's going to be able to get him down effectively at will. Not sure if Makhachev can sustain that for 5 rounds, but Moisés hasn't had, a tremendous gas tank either. So, yeah, I'm going to take Makhachev to win. I think it's going to be maybe a 3rd or 4th round submission, something like that. I think eventually Moisés is just going to, get tired of being out-grappled on the ground and eventually give up the position, and Makhachev's going to capitalize on it. Yeah, so I'm taking Islam Makhachev. That's it, folks. Look, suffering a bit of a migraine at the moment, so it's super hard to do this video. Probably not the best breakdown, but yeah, those are my leans for the card. Some decent fights on there, but just not really one that's good for betting. Anyway, give me a like, subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.